Live.
Hi, I'm Bill, the Knee Pain Guru, and welcome to the Knees for Life Inner Circle. This week we got some really cool stuff. I was inspired by an article that I read. It was actually on Facebook. It was by a Christine Comerford that was just absolutely amazing, and it was regarding I used to have it up here. But it's basically on the patterning in the brain and what happens in the brain when it was about intelligence. And what she had emphasized was there's these myelin patternings in the brain. When they were talking about Einstein, and when they autopsied his brain in 1984, they were showing that he had these really tight patternings in the gray matter in the brain. And what was happening is these are essentially pathways. And we're going to talk about that more as we get into the call. But I want to go over the things that we're going to cover today. One is the cutting-edge science, what cutting-edge science is showing on how pain changes who we are. The next thing we're going to talk about is how knee pain affects the body and begins changing the brain. This is really important in getting over knee pain and the patterns that take place in the body that reflect in the brain. And the last point that we're going to cover is what pain does to the brain and action steps you could begin taking immediately to take control of the situation and alleviate the pain naturally. So back what we were talking about just a moment ago, what I was talking about just a moment ago regarding the when they autopsied Einstein's brain back in 1984, they showed that it was very tightly patterned as far as how he thought, and that there's these I'm going to make sure we have the link to this article in the notes section of this video. But they were saying that we have these synapses and neurons that fire in a specific direction. And when someone wants to increase their intelligence, they need to go through a process in a specific manner slowly first, and then as they get the understanding of that movement down, they can speed it up. And we can look at, let's say, great musicians, a musician that plays the piano. They don't sit down at the piano and just start playing. They have to go through the keys specifically and get the fingers patterned in a way where the brain can understand what's going on. And then as the musician, as the pianist, begins to understand those movements, what happens is they can speed that up. And you see someone who is a phenomenal pianist, they're able, without even consciously thinking about it, play a beautiful song with the piano. And it's the very same thing when increasing intelligence or getting out of pain in the body. Knee pain is the context of what we're talking about today. When the body is experiencing pain, there's certain pathways that start to pattern. And when those pathways start to pattern, we get stuck in this rut or this groove of, well, my brain thinks it's going to hurt, and my knee knows it's going to hurt, and every time I take a step, I feel that pain. So it gets in this endless cycle of pain and discomfort, pain and discomfort. And I was speaking actually with Olga, one of my one-on-one coaching clients this week, and I was saying that I don't completely subscribe to the idea that if we just think positive thoughts and we sit there and we meditate, that the pain is going to go away. I believe there has to be another end of that understanding in the body. So we have the brain over on this side, and it's sending a signal to the knee on this side. So the brain recognizes the pain, sends a signal to the knee. The knee's going, yep, it hurts, sends a signal back to the brain that's like nothing has changed. So the brain can think positively and say, oh, the knee's not going to hurt, but when the signal gets to the knee and the knee hurts, the knee sends a signal back that there's pain. Well, what I believe is we have to address from both sides of the equation how to alleviate the pain. We have to have the positive outlook that the pain can be eliminated. And then we also have to create comfort in the body on the knee side of things, so when you do take a step, it's not reinforcing that signal to the brain that you have pain. And we have to look at both of these, both sides of the equation in order to truly understand how to eliminate the pain in the body. Otherwise, you're in a conventional model, which is pain management. It's essentially, well, let's numb what's going on, let's numb the nerves so the knee doesn't feel the pain. And hopefully when the nerve comes back online after the prescription drugs or the shot, that the pain will be gone. And in worst cases, and I've spoken with clients around that, is that they'll actually sever the nerve. That's like that's their modern version of a brilliant idea, to sever the nerve so you don't feel the pain in the knee, which I guess is fine, but in a long-term solution, those nerves are there for a reason. And that one just doesn't totally jive with me. I don't quite understand that whole piece. So let's talk about our first point. What cutting-edge science is showing how pain changes who we are? So when we're in pain, what happens? Well, it adjusts our mood. When we feel uncomfortable, when we feel discomfort, we don't feel ourselves. We don't interact with people the same way that we normally would. Our family, our friends, our loved ones, our social life suffers because, well, we're crabby, we're cranky, we don't feel good. My knee hurts, and I don't want to deal with it. I'm tired of dealing with it. So what ends up happening is this changes our outlook on life. The feeling of hopelessness and frustration and anger and helpless. The helpless feeling of not knowing what to do when you experience the pain. So when we look at what cutting edge science is showing, and this is part of the article by Christine Comerford, is that the same patterning takes place when we're increasing intelligence as it is to overcoming the pain in the body. We have to create a new neural pathway for our thoughts, our beliefs, our emotions. That initial part doesn't mean the knee's not going to hurt, but it shifts our mindset. Because if our head's not in the game, we can't play. And that's what many people with knee pain, the moment they really do want to have a positive outlook. They really want to get over the pain, over the frustration, over the anger, over the helplessness. They're stuck. And this is where getting into that mindset of the belief that, yeah, the body can heal itself. The body has the infinite capacity to heal itself. And if it's not healing itself, there's something in the way preventing it from doing so. And it would go to show that if we remove those blocks that are preventing the body from healing, then the body does what it does. Just like it processes oxygen, digests food, heals wounds, heals broken bones, it does all that on its own. But if it's not healing the pain, there's a hurdle, there's a block in the way. It's stopping it. And once we understand that mindset, then it's like, got it. We need to be open to the possibility of, well, what is that answer that is not necessarily involving drugs or shots or surgery? Someone who's done extensive research on this is Dr. Bruce Lipton in his book, The Biology of Belief, and showing that the environment plays more of a role in how a gene or a cell expresses itself or a body expresses itself than with genetics. And this is a medical doctor who's done extensive research, extensive study, and that has proven that if you create the environment for the cell to heal, the cell to regenerate, that plays a bigger role than anything else. So that's something to keep in mind. If you're listening to this hangout, look up Dr. Bruce Lipton, Biology of Belief. We'll have that link for Christine Comerford in the show notes for this as well, that you can read about the synapses and the myelin patterning and how that lays down these tracks for the body, for the mind to remember. For the mind to remember and understand what we focus on. Okay, let's go on to the second point, and how knee pain affects the body and begins changing the brain. So this is generally how it works. Every time we step, every time we move, and we feel that pain, the body does this moving away from the pain. So for me, I injured my left knee. This was 15 years ago. Reconstructive surgery, 4 knee dislocations. So my whole body did this movement away from the left knee. My body felt stuck. I not only was compensating for the knee, I felt tension in my hips and my lower back. My ankles and feet held tension as well. So in order for the knee to be protected, the knee to be injured, the rest of the body has to compensate and move away from that injury. That creates a tension pattern that affects not only the physical body, but it affects the brain. You can go ahead and affect your mood by how you stand. You can try it right now as you're standing there or sitting there. Sit up straight. Sit up in your chair or stand up straight and straighten your body up. And notice how you feel. Just do that for a moment. Just breathe normal. And then, for a moment, just start slumping. Slump your shoulders forward. Let your head drop forward. And notice how you feel. For me, there's like a heaviness. I feel like this heaviness in my head, like I'm thinking more. When I'm up here, it feels like I'm coming from a different place. Now, that's just a real simple example. However, when we have a knee injury, a perpetual knee injury, like I was speaking with Connie yesterday. Connie's out of, I believe she was in Maryland. And Connie, 3 years. She's had 2 knee arthroscopic surgeries. One was to address a meniscus tear, and the other one was to clean out loose bodies that continue to develop in her knee. She's been walking, compensating for this knee for 3 years. That she's at the end of a rope. It's like, I've tried everything. I don't want to go back to the doctor. I don't want to have a 3rd surgery. It hurts, it's painful, it's frustrating. So it affects your mental outlook on life. It affects the options that you see and what you're able to understand and take in and utilize. Because we're literally afraid to take that step, afraid to move forward. So the physical experience in the body affects how the mind views what's going on. And then it becomes this reflection of each other. The more pain the physical body is in, the more fear the mind has, the brain has, as to how to move. So it kind of paints us into a corner. We don't have any options. This is really important. So it's like the expression of the pain affects the mind. And what I was talking about before, we can affect that by how we stand, how we move. And then the last point we're going to cover is what pain does to the brain and action steps you can take to take immediately to take control of the situation and alleviate the pain naturally. So we take that step. Our mind goes to that dark place. It's like, ugh, the knee hurts. The knee, it's like it's doing that thing again. And we get into this frustrated place. It's like everything speeds up. One client that I work with on a regular basis does this. This is like her default. It gets into as soon as she experiences the pain, it's like her mind gets so frustrated and so worked up that she doesn't see any options. So what we've been working on is recognition of the pattern first. Recognizing that that's what she does. That there is this speeding up. The thoughts start to race. The mind starts to like search for an answer, but because it's going so fast, it doesn't see an option. It's just thinking everything is like a dead end. So by slowing the process down, going, gosh, this is what I do every time my knee hurts. And breathing. In through the nose and out through the mouth. And keep the breathing there and keep the mind slowed down. We can begin to see options. And just the sheer fact that you're breathing begins to relax the tension in the nervous system, which can begin to work in your favor to alleviating the pain in your knees. We're going to have Eric on the call today, one of my one-on-one coaching clients, also a member of the Inner Circle, and that's something he's been working on. The past couple weeks, we were doing like really good. He was getting out of pain, and then one day he decided to go to work. What ended up happening is he overdid it in the knee, so we've been working on that, getting the knee out of pain since that day that he overdid it. So we're going to see how he's been doing. I know he was sending me some texts yesterday afternoon and this morning regarding the benefits that he's gotten about quieting his mind and breathing through the knee, visualizing the breath going in and out of the knee. So that's been very helpful. Let's see. So that's the big thing you can do when you experience the pain. Slow down the mind, slow down the processes, and begin to breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. Okay, that covers it for what I wanted to go over on this call. Neil, how are we doing? Is Eric on the line?
He hasn't hopped on yet.
Okay.
I'd like to see if maybe you wanted to go in a little deeper about that, the patterning, the mental patterning that happens when someone hurts their knee and then compensates and it moves somewhere else, and then kind of that cycle that happens. And I know you kind of touched on it, but I feel like it's pretty important, and some people have been talking about that on our Facebook group.
Yeah, there was we're really talking about, I get the picture of your painting the floor of a room. And the more tension you have in the body, the more pain you have in the body, it's like you're painting yourself into a corner, and you have less and less room to move because there's so much fear. You think of the painted floor as being the fear. The more fear we have, the less room we have to move, the more tension we have in the body, the more pain the body experiences. And by slowing down that process, what we begin doing is expanding out from that place where it's painted. We're making more space in the room to be able to, it's like we're focusing on a different aspect of our nervous system. We have this tension we could focus on of how we can't move, and then we can also focus on comfort, which is the spaces that we can move. And what we focus on expands. The more we focus on the pain, the more pain is going to be the reality. The more we focus on comfort, we're going to specifically look for comfort, and comfort then becomes the reality in the body. So it's, what do you focus on? Are we looking at the glass as being half empty or half full? And from my perspective, and how it is in my program, in working with my clients, that we specifically focus on the glass being half full. The opportunities that are there for the body to heal. The space that can be created in the joint, which gets the pressure off of the nerves in the knee and allows the body to heal itself. So is that covering?
Yeah, I feel like that's kind of been some conversations that have happened lately because everyone's starting to feel that relief in their knees, but now it's moving, and that's really great information.
Well, I mean, there's several things that happen when we create comfort in one area. Yes, the pain can move. The pain can shift to another part of the knee. The pain can also move to another part of the body. The pain can shift from the knee up into the hip or the lower back. And it's not that we're regressing or that you've done something wrong. It's merely the fact that we're undoing the years, the days and weeks and months and years of injury and compensation that has taken place in the body. It's like we're shutting the vacuum off so we can hear the water dripping. When the knee begins to relax and you feel what's going on in the hip and the lower back, it's not that it's suddenly gotten worse, it's actually always been there, but the body was compensating to protect the hip and the lower back, and the knee injury was just screaming louder. So that's a pretty key point in terms of how the body heals. I was actually talking with a coaching client, Drew, out of London, Ontario. Drew is feeling the instability in his knee. Last week, he was in pain. There was stiffness going on. As he addressed the pain and stiffness in the knee, then the space increased in the knee. However, the knee now felt unstable. And I said, that's perfect, because now we are going to build the structure. We're going to build the tendon and ligament strength and fascial strength in the joint itself. In doing so, we make the joints very flexible and light and loose and free, because it's not being held together by tension caused by the compensation for the pain. So Neil, Eric's still not on the call yet?
No, we haven't had a chance to get him on.
Okay. What about questions?
Well, it seems like everybody's been supporting each other a lot on the Inner Circle Facebook group.
Mm-hmm.
And there's been a lot of fantastic back and forth between the clients in the Knees for Life Inner Circle.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of the questions are getting answered there, which is fantastic. Um,
I know Fadia. She was on the call maybe a month or so ago, but she put a picture of her going out. She's wearing high heels, which was kind of cool to see. And then I also have a picture. Let's see. Oh, this is Eric. Oh, yeah, Eric didn't know when the hangout is. So he is, hopefully he will be on here shortly. Yeah, Fadia went out, and then Drew the other day, I know I sent an email out to everyone talking about Drew, and Drew had this huge breakthrough this past weekend where he got full flexion out of his knee. I got a picture he sent me. He was at his brother-in-law's over the weekend, and one of the things we were working on was one of the big misconceptions is if there's scar tissue in the knee, that's the reason why the knee can't bend. Well, that's not necessarily true. Scar tissue can play a role in the freedom that the knee feels, but you can still get full flexion of the knee joint even if there is scar tissue in there. So I got, let's see, I'll show, here he is. Drew sent me that picture from his phone of him getting, of kneeling, fully kneeling. And this is a big one for martial artists when they need to bow in at the beginning of class. And a lot of people with knee pain looking at that picture be like, oh my gosh, if I got down to the ground that way, I'd never be able to get back up. And Drew actually was quite comfortable in that position, which is really awesome. And what we did is we addressed the fact that the tension that was going on that wasn't in allowing the knee to bend was more of a function of what was going on in the hip. And once we got the hip freed up and loosened up, as well as the knee freed up and loosened up, then full flexion happens in the joint. It doesn't matter if there's been an injury, if you're looking at surgery, whatever the case is. The same situation happened with me with my torn ACL, and I had the surgery. It was one of those things that I just couldn't bend, and the knee gets kind of a little out to the side because you can't bend it underneath you. You can't do a heel to butt type of movement. And when we free up the hip, it actually takes a lot in the hip as well as in the bone in the upper leg, plays a huge role in how the flexion takes place in the knee. So, okay. There's Eric.
Hey,
Eric,
Bill.
you there? Hey, man.
Yeah, do you see?
I can. How's it going?
Good.
Excellent. So we had a call the other day. That was on Tuesday, and I was actually chatting about you just a little bit ago regarding you overdid your knee a few weeks ago, and we've been kind of working with that since to get your knee back feeling good. The other day, we were doing some of the work in traction, the can opener, and some of the other stretches, the passive stretches to get the pressure off of those nerves in your knee. And then you were working on the breathing and visualizing the breath going in and out of the knee. Kind of share a little bit about what's going on, get me up to speed, get everyone on the call up to speed as far as how that's been going.
It's been going really good. It takes usually like 5 5 to 10 minutes. It could even take longer to get into the state. But then, as soon as you get to that state, it actually helps a lot better. You start focusing more on allowing your knee to unwind, and it feels like it's flowing, fluids or whatever flowing through my knee more
Mhm.
frequently. Like, kind of hard to explain, but
Yeah,
it kind of feels like it's opening up.
excellent. Eric, take a moment and just kind of get everybody up to speed as to what happened. You had surgery back in, that was a few months ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, September 26th.
And what
And,
happened? You had was it meniscus tear?
well, um, no, the outside of my knee, the lateral part of my knee, that was severely torn from having it dislocated over 10 times.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the whole reason why my knee was getting worse and worse was because I didn't really tell much people. It was getting more sore and more sore, and I was going to work even though I shouldn't have been. So it got to the point where it swole up and it was catching up to me very quickly. So I decided to get surgery, and didn't really. It kind of pulled my kneecap into where it was supposed to be, but it still didn't address the issue on why I was having the knee pain in the first place.
Okay.
Um, it did heal up, and I went back to work, and then it just reoccurred again and again to the point where I couldn't walk anymore. And but now it's looking better now because that last time where I was walking again, I think I overdid it again. So I think it's every time that I've reheard it, it's a slower process to get back and to put weight on it again.
Mm-hmm. Got it. So where are we right now? How is that feeling? What have you felt that's been giving you some good leverage as far as the knee feeling better, and what has been maybe not working so well?
Um, Everything's been working well. It's the fact that me rushing back into it too early, I think, was the problem. But the Traumiel and the rescue remedies, also with taking ginseng tea 3 times a day with the fish oils, and I just finally got those digestive enzymes that you were talking about.
Uh-huh.
Those are helping for sure. I noticed my knee going down and swelling quite a bit the last 4 or 5 days. Just continuing with the icing and all the rest of what you've been telling me.
Yeah. Oh, let's talk about that conversation we had via text over the weekend when you were wanting to go into the hot tub to try that out.
Oh, yeah. Um, if you actually sit down and think of what something might feel like if you are going to do it in the future, you actually get a sense of how it actually will feel during that process. So, like I asked you, would it be a good idea to go start applying heat to my knee to generate more blood flow? And then a light bulb came on telling me I think it's a bit too early to get to that point. But yeah, that made a lot of sense on like instead of asking you to sit back and think of what that would actually feel like, and then that will answer your question.
Yeah. I think there's a huge opportunity that we pass up on a regular basis where we don't trust ourselves. We don't
Hmm.
listen to ourselves. And what ends up happening is we do think it's like, I know if I go play basketball, my knee's going to hurt.
Yeah.
And for some reason, we completely blow by that and we're like, I just need to go play basketball. And then the knee swells up really big, and we knew this,
Yeah.
yet,
Yeah,
like,
we did it anyway.
what is that mechanism? And I think it goes back to the impetus for our call today, which was the patterning in the brain, how the mind focuses on laying down these synaptic, the firing of the neurons in the brain.
Mm-hmm.
We have this thing that it's like, oh, we got to push through the pain. We got to suck it up. We see it. No pain, no gain. Just do it. Pain is weakness leaving the body. And what happens is we aren't making a distinction as the type of pain we need to feel. If it's muscular pain, that's one thing. But if it's joint pain, like a knee, it's a very different animal. And if we push a joint when it needs to rest, then we end up creating the conditions for the joint to really damage itself and not have long-term sustainability for the joint, which is why so many people are getting arthritis and looking at knee replacement surgeries down the road. So that was like a huge, I would call it like a really kind of high-level way of getting support for your body, like listening and going inside and going, gosh, if I put heat on my knee, what do I think that's going to feel like? Or if I put cold on my knee, what do I think it's going to feel like? And you're going to get immediately some sort of feedback from your nervous system that's like, wow, that'd really feel good if I put ice on it. Or if I just sat here with a pillow, like that was your deal the other day, you can't straighten it out. So if you put a pillow underneath the knee and support the knee slightly bent, that creates more of an opportunity for the knee to heal than it is if we try to stretch that range of motion, either by fully flexing it or fully extending it.
And I think that is absolutely correct. Like when I was doing physiotherapy, they're trying to force me through these squat things that they're telling me it's good for you, but I felt like I was more sore the next day trying to do those workouts. And passive stretching is helping a lot more than going to physiotherapy for my condition.
Yeah. And also, I'd like to qualify that. Passive stretching is important. Each of the components, like strengthening the legs, are important. The passive stretching is important. The timing of those is even more important, because if we put those out of order, we're never going to get out of pain. But if we put them in the correct order, like the combination to a safe, you're going to get the results that you're looking for.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
So, anything else? Do you want to go?
Anything else? I'm trying to think here. Like, I'm just gradually feeling better and better every day. Like, I can't really push it too hard right now, but I think eventually, with the next couple weeks, I'm going to notice a big difference.
Nice. Nice. Okay. Since the other day, I remember the text you sent me this morning. You're good with the passive stretches. You're kind of going pretty slowly with those, correct?
Yeah, like I think I might have bent my knee a little too much on certain passive stretches.
Uh-huh.
And like you said, try to keep my knee straighter in a more comfortable position during the passive stretches. Maybe I won't feel that severe tenderness that I've been feeling.
Yeah.
Right side. Yeah.
Did I give you the specific pain point? I believe it's module 45 in the passive stretching.
Let me check.
Because if I haven't, I want you to work with that. That wouldn't involve, yeah, it's module 45, scar tissue and specific pain point work.
45. Here, let me check. No, I didn't get 45. I'll put that in.
Yeah, I think that would be a good one, especially where you're at, where your knee's at. And you can go like millimeter by millimeter.
Okay.
You can just go real subtle, real gentle. And that will help alleviate what you got going on.
Perfect.
Cool. Got anything else, Eric?
No, I think that's pretty well wraps up on my knee situation. It's just that it's one of those knee injuries. Like my mom's already walking again. Like she had surgery, what, 2 weeks ago? Not even.
Uh-huh.
And you can tell that the reason I'm far back as I am is because I kept trying to toughen it through all of the situations I've been, but that kind of just set me back even farther. So it's going to be a long process, but I'm sure I'll be back at her in no time.
Yeah. Okay. Well, great. Well, send me a text in a couple of days, like Saturday-ish, and let me know how that's going.
Cool. Sounds good. I'll text you Saturday. Thanks again for everything.
Yeah, you're welcome, Eric. Thanks for being on the call.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay.
Bye now.
Hey, Neil.
Hey, Bill. Just for the viewers of this call that aren't familiar with the inner circle just yet, could you go over kind of that system that you were giving him with the modules and the virtual clinic? Just kind of go over that.
Yes. I work with clients one-on-one. And I use what is known as my virtual knee pain clinic as the workshop. So there are several hundred videos that I've created over the past 6 years that I refer to these specific modules that have videos attached to them, and that's what Eric and Olga and Fadia, what they would use as homework. They would tell me how their knee hurts, and then I would point to specific videos that they would then work with over the next several days and check in with me to see that they're having that momentum moving forward, getting comfort in their knees. Well, working with one-on-one clients, that wasn't feasible for everyone, so I developed the Knees for Life Inner Circle, which included the virtual clinic. It also included 2 of the Google Hangouts per month, which is what we're doing every other Thursday, and then the Knees for Life Facebook page, where members of the Inner Circle can interact with each other, get help and support and encouragement from other members of the Inner Circle, as well as myself. You're in there as well, Neil, as far as well as Mimi, that provides support if there's any questions, situations that come up. I know Dee gets quite a thread going at times. There's some cool questions she has on what she has going on with her knees, as well as Fadia and Olga and other members as well. And it's a community. What I'm doing, this program, the Knees for Life Inner Circle, it's about getting the support to more people than I would be able to interact with one-on-one. So we get questions that members of the Knees for Life Inner Circle can pose, and I answer them on the Google Hangouts twice a month. So there will be a link, I'm sure, in the description of this video where you can go and sign up for the Inner Circle and be in one of the Hangouts, just like Eric was a little bit ago, and I work with you specifically in your specific knee situation as if you were working with me one-on-one. You also have the, like I said, the virtual clinic, the 2 Google Hangouts per month, and the private Facebook page.
That's great. And could you tell them just a little bit more about your one-on-one work as well?
One-on-one work, basically how that works is you get a customized program for what you have going on with your knees. You show up, We meet on a call like this, which is generally on Skype, once a week for half an hour, and we go in depth as to what's going on with your knees. How does it hurt? When does it hurt? When do you move? How do you twist? I become like a detective where I try to figure out the pattern that is going on in your knee. And then that's where I'll point to modules in the virtual clinic where you begin working with them for homework. Then generally what happens is in a couple of days, I have my clients check in with me. Send me a text or an email or a phone call or something like that to get an idea of the homework, if the homework is working. And what's been happening is we've just been getting phenomenal results because I refer to it as like playing tennis. The closer you get to the net, the faster the ball returns to you. So every time we're focusing on comfort, and the more we can dial that in and make distinctions and terms of understanding for what's going on with your knee, we essentially create the program specifically for your knee situation.
Great. And just to remind people, if this is their first contact with your work, how they can get in touch and how they can start a process of working with you.
Yeah, go to thekneepainguru.com, sign up for the free report. I have some of the most common areas in the knee that are sore and some stretches that you can do, actually the passive stretches that I talk about, to alleviate those 4 knee points, alleviate the pain in those four knee points, and it can begin you on the process of leading a pain-free life. This is what I found out in my past 15 years of research and study and learning is that anyone with chronic knee pain is on a slippery slope to a knee replacement surgery. It doesn't matter what the age is, but that's how the process goes. And unless you begin to take an active role in your own self-healing, what ends up happening is you're on a hamster wheel of pain management, of prescription drugs, pain-killing shots, or surgery. And that's kind of how that works. So I'd encourage you to take action. That's the big thing. Taking action, getting a free report, getting involved in one of the book, the Knees for Life Inner Circle, the Say No to Knee Replacement program, or one-on-one coaching. And if you have questions, there is the opportunity to set a time to speak with me individually, and we'll custom tailor a program specifically for you.
Great. I think we're pretty complete. The questions are all answered, and if you want to just leave them with a few words.
Yeah, I think that there's really cool stuff like that article, that Christine Comerford article. It's so exciting when you see my understanding of the body, and then there's science that comes up and supports that. It's like I feel this when I've worked with myself, when I work with clients. I see the results. However, I may not have like a scientific basis for it. And then we have people that are doing extensive research like Dr. Bruce Lipton, or these articles that are coming out by Christine Comerford that really epitomize what I'm talking about, and it supports the process. And it's really a revolution that's taken place. People are sick and tired of not having answers, of the frustration, the helplessness, just feeling like they're stuck and they can't do anything about their knees. And it doesn't have to be that way. There are other solutions. Mine primarily being the one that I would point you towards. And the conventional model just isn't working. You know, a lot of people are lining up for knee replacement surgeries, like an obscene amount, 676,000 knee replacement surgeries in the U.S. alone. And this was in 2011. So that number just keeps rising. So I'm letting you know kind of like the pattern of what's going on, and it's your choice. If you want to develop another pattern, then I would suggest get involved. Go to my site, thekneepainguru.com, check out the stuff, watch the videos, the YouTube channel. I have 6 years worth of 6 years worth of videos up there, and all sorts of things. But if you really want to get moving, then go to those places and start absorbing the information. Spend time absorbing that information and then make an educated decision.
All right. Thanks, Bill.
You're welcome. When is the next hangout?
The next hangout is on the 27th.
No, that's Thanksgiving.
Oh, it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Let's do it on the Wednesday before.
Okay. 26th?
The 26th, yeah.
All right. We'll do it then.
Cool. That's so we'll do it on Wednesday, November 26th at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. Next one. Okay, everyone. Thank you so much for being on the call. I will see you next time, if not sooner, if you sign up for a time to speak with me. And thank you so much, and take care of your knees.